procedure logic into the script. Like let's say I have table 1, table 2, and then I'm selecting some values from table 1, table 2, and then I'm inserting into some table, and then values from table 1 I'm inserting into the temp table, values from table 2 I'm inserting to the temp table. Now I have the collection of those columns in the temp table, and I'm inserting the temp table into table 3. That's it. That is something that business logic in my store procedure. So I was thinking how to convert that business logic in terms of the glide record. So I posted some few queries there on the community. So finally I came to know that we cannot use any store procedure,
Yeah.
or a temp table in the script. So whatever I have to write, I have to um, I have to use different functions of the glide record
Yep.
to write that business logic.
Yes.
But still I am not convinced uh, because it is giving me some restriction that whatever the logic I can write in the store procedure, I can do so many other things in the business logic. Like as I just now I give the example to you, right? So
Hmm.
is that all possible through the glide record? Because we are dealing with the object in that case, right?
Yes, that is possible with glide record. So you need to explore more the glide record class and all
Hmm.
those methods available into it. That will give you all these features. There are different methods that you can use to join
Hmm.
tables, to store data, to retrieve data. So all these methods are
Hmm.
available into glide record. You may use it, and then that will basically
Hmm.
allow you everything that you are looking for. This will be done.
Hmm. Then another thing I was trying to, let's say I have a 4 or 5 record in my glide record, and I was trying to access the value of the specific nth record. For example, I want a first name of the 4th record. Okay, so I was trying to see how, like, in the data set we will say, like a data row, and then like how do you access an array, right? You give an index number,
Mm-hmm.
like row in square bracket 4 dot, the data field name,
Mm-hmm.
so and so.
Hmm.
But I guess through index we cannot traverse through a data row. So um, you
That goes as
know
part of JavaScript logic, right?
no, that is not a part of JavaScript. See, example for like
See, I'll
um,
tell you what. You see it here, the project's screen that I have. So I basically
hmm,
went ahead and modified the requirement of resource management, the resource management application we were working for, your eSign project, right?
right.
Now, what I did is I went ahead and created a couple of more modules, created some more business requirement around it, and this is what I am
Okay.
doing. So let me explain this project first, and then I'll go ahead and explain what all I have done to get this project working for
Hmm,
me. Right.
okay.
Now created the project table that contains certain fields like project ID, project name, resource list,
Hmm,
project priority, project signed or
hmm,
not, resources, number of resources required, the project
hmm,
owner, number of resources
hmm,
allocated, which is a read-only field here because the number of resources
hmm,
allocated will be updated whenever I select a resource from the resource list, right? Then I have the project duration, I have the project active, which is checked and read-only right now when I am creating a new record, right? And then I have project type that contains development, maintenance, support, consulting, and management, and created by. So see, I'm enforcing some logic here. I enforce this logic that the project ID will be auto number, generating auto number here, which is right here, correct. Now it will be read only all the time. So you have to have this read only field here. Resource allocated is something that I have kept read only purposefully, and this gets updated whenever I add a resource into the resource list. See, if I go ahead and add another one, it updates. See? So here what I'm doing is I'm playing with the indexes. I'm playing with this items into the resource list. The number of items I am adding into the resource list, I'm getting the count of it and this is getting populated, right? So this is one screen. I'll come back to it and I'll show you the script that I have used to do so, right? To update this resource allocated, I have done some script onto the change event of this resource list control that I have here, right? Playing with all these values, these comma separated values, I have something, I am converting it in some sort of array and putting it into variable, counting the length of the array and then pushing that into the resource allocated field here. Right?
Okay.
So this is one screen. The other screen that I have is the resources screen, as we talked about, where you are getting references to the resource, the table, the resource table or the user table. And whenever I select this user information from here, like I change manager, it will populate a manager name as well, right? So I have done that. So basically this manager is getting hard coded right now, but I'll try to find out the manager of the person, the resource name, whosoever I selected here. I want to populate the manager's name of that person into this manager's list. Okay, so I have written the script for that. I'll show you how we have done that and how else we can do that, how we can modify that as well, because we are to provide certain validations and certain features into that. So we'll need to write that kind of a script that we have here. So this is resource, then we have a skill module. So this skill module is required in our hypothetical example, and that's because whenever I identify a resource here, I have to identify what type of a skill this person has, whether he is a .NET resource, JavaScript resource, web services, AWS, Chef, Puppet, Hadoop, or any other resource if he's a resource having multiple skills. So you can go ahead and select these skills here, and based upon those skills, this resource information will be populated. So that's why I have identified this skill information, the skill table here. The next module I have is the search project module, which is, I do not have a submit button here. It is not submitting anything. Rather, what I'm doing is I'm providing this screen and I'm getting me some options based upon which I'm able to filter out records. So project priority equals medium. I'm looking for any project which is there into the system which will be of medium priority. So there is no project on the medium priority. I'm going to search on critical priority. And now I can see that there are 9 projects into the system that are having the critical priority. So basically, I use a different interface. The search projects interface is there, which is just to search fields onto the form, right? Not all of, and I cannot submit it here, right? I do not have a submit button. I'm not creating a record. Rather, I'm doing a search on the field that I have, the project field.
So you created another application called administration?
What?
You created administration because at search project
This is not an application. This is again a module separator. This is not an application. I just wanted to have a module separator that will group similar looking items, right?
Okay.
So this administration is giving me all the options. See, if you closely look at the resource management application, the front section that I have is for creating records. So you are seeing this create project. It will give you a create project screen. You resource management, it will give you create resources screen. Create a skill, it will give you create skills screen here. But if I hit this projects, it will give you list of projects, list of records from the projects table. Resources, it will give you all the resources available into the resource table. The skill is doing the same. Requisition is doing the same for the requisition form, right? But here, it's slightly different. It is the screen that I get to create a record, right? Here in the search projects, I am getting a screen which is basically I'm going to use for searching records into the table that I have identified. Right, so I wanted to have different types of modules here so that I can show you these are the modules that I can include into the project and you can use it. And there are different types of scripts, there's different settings to the modules that I have created into, you can find it here, right? So this is what I have done. I have evolved that project requirement of eSign project here and changed it a little bit, added more fields to it. That is giving you these that is giving you these functionalities, etc. So you will have all these information here.
You know what, like small things, but it's taking time to understand because like I was writing the script and then I got the record in the in the variable of glide record, okay, and I was trying to print it, but then I came to know that no, that even though you get the record, it does not point the first record. You have to have the while dot next
Yes.
if you want to,
Yes. Yes.
that is
Yes.
the
Yes.
only, that is the only way it points it. But
Yeah.
then, I tried couple of times. I said, why it is not printing? I was assumed that, it points, first time, first record itself, but that's not the case.
Hmm.
You have to have the while dot next.
Hmm.
You know, you cannot do that. So
Yep. Now this project also contains certain business rules. So if you see, I have a business rule into which one? Probably requisition table or something. So I have a business rule on requisition, I believe. So I'll show
requisition
you.
is what?
Requisition is, if you see here into the projects table, I
Mhm.
have a resources required. So I need 10 resources, but from the
Mhm.
resource list, I
Mhm.
added like one or two resources, right?
Okay.
So this gives me idea that I need 10 resources, but only two resources have been allocated to me, which is populated here, right?
Mhm.
Now let me do something. Resource project. Now this is a management project or something and created by Rahul. Project is signed. Now I'm going to submit it. When I submit it, what it does is it finds out the information whether the resources that I have identified is less than the number of resources required. And if it is less than the number of resources required, it should do something, right? So in this example, what I have done is it will automatically open a requisition into the system, right? So it will create a requisition into the system. Requisition is to hire resources. So it will create a record into the system to hire resources, and then it will notify people, hey, this project has less number of resources than it is required. So you need to act on it. You need to look for people outside, and you have to hire it. So that's a sample flow that I have tried to introduce into it. So for that, I have this requisition module here that will show you, if it is a new requirement that you have, if the project requires more people, so you'll get those people here, right? So that is the requisition form, and to this requisition form, I have attached a business rule. Okay? And this business rule is whenever a new requisition is created, this business rule is creating a task for somebody into the task table, right? So that it is doing is, it is going ahead into this is going into the business rule and creating a record into the task table. So if you see into the business rule, I have kept a glide record statement here, which will basically insert a record into the task table and assign it to somebody who is supposed to work on that. Let me open this, and you can see it here. I went into the task table and created this record, this glide record here, right? So basically, I extended the same features that we started with into the resource management application. Now, we started with creating the project resources, sending out emails,
Mhm.
etc. Now I went ahead and added some more functionality, opened this requisition, added a workflow as well. So there is a workflow that I attached to here,
Mhm.
workflow editor. You can see here into the workflow editor, I have a resource management workflow that I created, which is a simple one. A couple of activities. We have it here. Where is that? Resource. Yeah. So I created this resource requisition workflow that is here. So each time we create a requisition request, this will get kicked out and it will this send out emails required. It will get certain approvals, etc., and then send out emails. And finally, there is a run script which is changing the run script final state and ending the workflow. Right, so just a sample workflow is also associated to this application. So you have it all, right? Now what I'll do is I'll send an update set of this update resource
Mhm.
management application to you, and
Okay.
you can then import it
Mhm.
within your instance and try to see what all I have done. For example, if I go to the create projects module, I have written a couple of client scripts. These client scripts are available and they will be available into the updater that I'll send you. On load of the project, I'm writing a couple of scripts here. On load of the form, what I'm doing is I'm setting the project status field to true, which is I'm checking it out and I'm setting that read only to resource allocated. The number of resource allocated is getting read only, that getting set as read only, because that I am populating using some sort of a script whenever I am adding resources to the resource list. So if I added 5 resources, then the resource allocated field will be updated by number 5. That's what I'm doing. But that is a separate script on change of the resource list control that we have there. Right? Now I added a couple of
resource allocated is the table.
No. See, I'll show you.
Oh, that's the field name. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's
I'll show you this. The create project, right? Resource allocated is this field, which is blank right now and read only right now. So if I select one resource from here, it gets populated with number 1. The number of resources we selected in the resource list, this will update it into the resource allocated field. So that's what it is.
Okay.
Now I have also kept this conditional check here. I am doing gform.isNewRecord. So if it is a new record, if it is the first time that I'm going to create that record, I'm not updating that any record. So if it is a new record, what I'm doing is I'm doing the project status equals true, meaning this is the project status, the active field. So it was named as project status, right? So I'm marking this as true and read only whenever this is a new form. So if I go into an existing form, existing record and open it, I have it differently. When I open it, see this is editable, this is not read only, right? So that's what I have done. I am checking whether it is a new record or it is an existing record that I am playing with. So if it is a new record, mark it checked. If it is, mark it read only, sorry. If it is not a new record, do not mark it as read only. That's what I'm doing. And the reason behind doing is that, see, if it is a 10 days project that I am creating right now, after 10 days, that project might not be active, right? So somebody can go ahead, open that project and mark this as inactive and save it, right? So that's why for all the new projects that I am creating, I have kept it as by default an active project. But for old projects that we have, I have left it as an option. Whether this can be active or inactive is up to the person who is editing that record. That's why I have this script here. I just wanted to include certain more scripts. So I just did this, included this function of gform.isNewRecord, filtered out if it is a new record or an existing record that we are working with, and then applied this set read only method to that. All right. So this is one type of a script that I have done. You will get that into the import set that update set that I'm going to send to you. The other type of script that we have is, we'll go here, the onChange script. Now see, the resource list is the field upon which I have applied this onChange script, onChange of resource list, right? That's what I have done. I created a onChange script for naming it as onChange resource list. The table applicable is resource projects table. It is applicable to UI type both. The type is onChange. So I selected this onChange type of the client script, and field name I associated is the resource list. This is the field, resource list, right? So basically I want to trap the number of users I'm adding into this resource list. So that's why I have this onChange event applied onto this resource list. Now when I do that, within the code what I am doing is, these are the 2 lines of code that I have applied. So resource list is this field, and this field, whenever it gets populated, it will get values into the comma separated value here. Joe employee, comma Crystal Stika, comma Billy Cowley, comma system administrator, comma Christian Marnell. So all these comma separated values get populated here. So what I'm doing is, I'm getting this value, gform value, from here into the resource list, and then I'm splitting it on the basis of comma. The commas that we have here, I'm splitting it on the basis of comma. So when I split it on the basis of comma, it will basically give me an array of items, array of names. That array of names, I am storing it into the resource allocated variable. Right? Now this resource allocated variable is an array for me. That becomes an array because that contains the names of the resources I have selected. So next step, what I do is I go ahead and set the value of resource allocated field here. And that I do by using gform.setValue onto the resource allocated field, and I am counting the length of the array that we have just created. So array.length. That's it. So I got
Yep.
the length of the array and I updated the resource allocated here, right? So this way, so this is simple JavaScript, right? I used JavaScript split function, created that into array, right? And then I counted the length of that array and displayed it here, right? So that's another type of script that I have here. You can extend this script to as much as you want, as much functionality you want to implement into this form. You can extend this one. Go ahead and choose this, change this as and when whatever is required. You can play with it. Now the next script that I have is on submit. Whenever I submit this form, this script has to be called off, right? So here what I'm doing is these are just some variables that I have created. I am getting this resource required and resource allocated just to make sure that if the number of resource allocated is less than the number of resources required, you will get to see a message. You need to get more resources deployed into the project. This is not that message, so probably I have broken this script somehow. So this is not getting you this message. It was sending that message out, but this is the logic that I have kept. I got the number of resources required. I got the number of resources allocated. Now I'm comparing it. If it is less than the number of resources required, it will show you this message. Now next thing that I am doing is if it is a new record, I am showing a message that this new project has been created. If this is an existing record, I am showing this message that this project has been updated, right? So just a simple script that I have it here, and then you can go ahead and apply certain validations as well. The validations could be, let's say, the date field. Do we have a date field? No. Any types of validations, like you have to have this project type as mandatory. You have to have this project owner as mandatory field. If you have dates, you can go ahead and compare dates. If you have to check if the values into the resource allocated is less than or greater than the resource required, you can put that validation checks as well into this script, right? So your job is to go ahead, refer through all these scripts that I have written, and then you have to extend those scripts. That's what you need to do. Then within this project, I have applied a couple of notification emails as well. So whenever I create a record, the project owner will get an email that this project has been created. On the other hand, project resources will also get notified that this project has been identified for them and they are allocated to that project, right? For example, Seen, Jacinto, and Rahul are getting this email because they are assigned to that project and they need to work on that. So I'm sending an email notification to the other person as well, saying that this is what you need to do. Okay.
So you created this notification through workflow, or you created email notification?
This one I created using email notification, but you can do that for using workflow as well. So whenever you want to send out notification as part of a workflow activity, get that notification created there. Let me send out this resource management update set to you. Kumaran is not coming today, so resource management application update set. So you have it. All the changes that we are discussing right now is available into that update set. Okay. Now the other things that I have done is, what else? The business rule. Business rule you saw, right? The other thing that I have done is the create new opens up this creation screen. Search project opens up this search screen, and projects opens up this list of records, right? But this All of these are operating on the same table, which is the projects table. But how do we change this, right? So these three different screens that we have, how have we changed it? Is there something that we have done to do this? Yes, we have. So we'll have to see the module properties. Let's look into the module properties. Let's look into the projects first. When I do this edit module, I'll get to see that this is a list of records that we have here. So if you go to the link type, see the link type is list of records. But if I go to the search project screen and search product module, let's look into the link type. The link type in this case is a search screen, and I'm searching on projects. Okay.
Okay.
If I go to the create projects, let's look at the link type that we have here. The link type that we have here is a new record link, right? So that's why it gives me a new page, a pure page for creating a new record, right? So we did
Okay.
new record, we did search screen, we did list of records. What else we can do is reports. For sure, we are going to put some reports into this. So you'll have this reports. If you want to create a new content page, so you can create a content page and then refer that content page here within a module. If you are creating a home page, that home page you can create and associate here. For example, let's create a home page for us now. So if I go back here on the home screen, and hopefully I have created a home page for me. Let me see if I have a home page. Let's assume that this my self-service is a home page that I have here, my self-service 2. So if I go ahead and create a module, and within this module, I'll go ahead and create a new home page. Let's say I'll do resource home page or something, right? And I'll put that into resource management application menu. And then I'll put an order to it, and the order I want is, let's say I want it to appear at the last of the list, last position of the list. Now I'm going to put it as a home page, and from the home page list I'll go ahead and select one of the home pages that I have created. My self-service or something. Let's search on the my self-service. Do we have a page? Probably that home page is not active or something. Let me look for another home page that we have here, and probably we can go ahead and add those home pages. Let's leave it for now. You can associate any of the home pages. So let's use this home page. Which one? Asset overview, for example, in this case, unless we have a home page created for ourselves. So I'm going to use this asset overview just for example, and I'm saving this. So this is another type of module that we created. We created a home page, and that home page will be reflected to us whenever we go to the resource management application. I'm refreshing this instance to see the changes. Now expand this. Let me go first to my self-service page. Now I can see this resource homepage module coming in. When I click on this one, it will take me to the asset homepage that we have, right? So instead of having a home page for my self-service or something, I am directing my user to go to the home page of the resource management. In this case, I tied the resource management homepage to this module that we have here, right? So this home page, let's I am faking it. So let's put this resource homepage name here. So this resource homepage will contain different reports or gauges that we have created for this application, and that can be shown to the users, right? Another type of a screen that we just created here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is modules. Notifications done, business rule done.
How you create this module separator administration? Where
Okay,
to?
okay. So administration, so let's create another module separator which I want to use for the home page. So I'll create a home page module separator. So if you go to modules, create a new module. This is just a module, but a separated module. So I'll do this as home page, and then I'll go ahead and choose resource management application from here, and order I'll do 900 because 1000 I kept it for the other home page, and now I'm going to use a separator from here, just a separator, and submit it. That's it. Now I'll refresh this form. Now I get this home page coming in. Okay, this is not an
So,
application, this is a module separator that
mm-hmm. Can you go one more time? I just wanted to see the setting, what you did there.
modules. Let me open from here.
You attach a resource homepage somewhere there. How
Where?
do that module know that it has to go to
Order,
resource homepage
order.
order? Okay.
So resource homepage, I kept order of 1000.
Mm-hmm.
Homepage, I kept an order of 900. I just wanted that this
Mm-hmm.
homepage should come just before the resource homepage. So I kept 900.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can go ahead and create reports as well. Put a new module for report or something. Create those reports and then use it.
So Rahul, all these applications now we are using as an administrator. So let's say this application is we have to publish it for the end user. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So of course we are going to provide them a form, not they are not able to see, like they should able to create a project, they should able to create
Hmm.
a resources.
Hmm.
So in that case we what we have to do, we have to create a UI pages, correct? And then we have to attach
Several
that UI
several
page.
things. Several things. See,
Okay. Hmm.
you can create UI pages. You can create your own content pages as well. See, I'll show you. What is this? This is- So this doesn't look like ServiceNow page, right? It's a different page,
Hmm.
right? So if you want to,
Style sheet.
this is basically ServiceNow content management system. I'll show you a better pages as well.
Yes, yes, okay.
You can create your own custom content pages, and that you can use to show your applications portal. Oh, not this one. Employee self-service is ESS, which is right. And HR portal is something like this. So one way of distribution is that you create a content page, show to your user a different layout, and from there you provide different screens that users can access. Another way is that you create UI pages. So see there, I went ahead and created this link here onto the content page, and this page link, when I click on this, it will open up the My Profile page that we designed earlier. So this one looks like the ServiceNow screens, right? The other one that we just had earlier, this is just a landing page or placeholder page that is much better in look and feel, contains your custom
We
CSS or
can
something.
say it's a home page basically, the
You
landing
can
page.
create a
Okay,
home
after
page,
login.
yeah. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
create a resource management homepage, create a resource management homepage. Give your users links here, and that those links will open up the pages according to the rows that the users have, and you can show them there. Other way of doing so is if you just want to use the simple interface that we have here, start
Okay.
creating, start creating, the catalog items according to the categories that we have onto the home pages. So you may see here within this
Mm.
catalog item, can we help you? I have a create a project module here. So you can go
Yeah,
ahead
I
and,
remember
yeah,
we wanted to talk about the interceptors. I think we left that topic, right? This is the interceptor you have created, correct?
this is a record producer I have created. You can call it an interceptor in a way because this is
Mm.
getting certain values. So this is basically a record producer that I have created. And this record producer is tied to the project screen. So when you fill in values from here
Mm-hmm.
and you fill in all the information and then submit it, it will take you to the same screen. It will not take you to the list of records and all. It will take you to this screen and then you can go ahead and submit this screen and just like any other user will do. You may want to show some more messages here onto the screen like this project ID was created or something. So you can
I
put.
was reading about a record producer also, and I was watching the same video. So this record producer is to they in the wiki they said it only to create the records which creates a task, you know,
Yes,
um, that is called a record producer.
yes.
So can you elaborate what do you mean by creating a task? So when we create a
See,
project.
you should be using record producer in scenarios where, for
Mm-hmm.
example, the requisition request that we were creating, that was
Mm-hmm.
eventually creating a task. So
Mm.
for the example of doing it, we did it for create project, right? But
Okay, but
the
this is
ideal
not a
situation, ideal
product.
situ
Okay.
ideally, whenever
Okay.
the application that you are working on, ideally when this application is creating a task ultimately, you should do it using record producer. Right? So a task ID will be generated and that will be associated to the records that you are playing with. Right? So you should be using,
So
in that case, you should be using the record producer.
so it means, let's say I created an incident as an end user, and it creates a task for a certain team to work on that incident. That is called a record producer,
Can
right?
you speak louder?
Okay. Let's say I created an incident as an end user, and then it creates a task for a certain team to work on that incident.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that is a record producer, we can say that, right? So ultimately the goal of record producer is to
The goal of
uh,
record producer is to produce records. That's it. That's just a
to,
form that you should
to
use
produce a
to
record
produce
or
records.
to create a task.
No, to produce a record is the record producer's role. Right? Now,
Means to
where should you
create the
use
record.
is where it comes that you are saying that it should be used whenever you are creating a task. The role of record producer is just to produce records. And see, that's what it is doing. On the creator project, I am going to produce some records here, right?
Mm,
And then I am
mm,
passing it on to the next screen, which is my module that I have created, right? I got
mm,
this value,
mm,
pass it on to the module that I have. That's it. The record producer work is done, right? But before doing that, there could be several other scripts that we'll have into the record producer. So if you go into the record producer, this is a scriptless record producer that I have right now. But if you go into the record producers, find out that record producer for creative project, you can attach some scripts in there that will do certain processing for you. Into the script window, you can put some script here. Where is that? Here, right? So that will be a a record producer with a script, right? So basically, you will use this kind of record producer when you are working with service catalog items that will use task that will need tasks to be created. Of course, if it is task that you need to create, you will use that record producer here, right? But the ultimate goal is to produce records. Pass that record that you are that you are gathering here onto the form, pass that to the landing page or module that you have created, and then next functionality will be taken care by the next module that we have here. So all the functionality that your module has will be taken care by this module only. Record producer's work is done. That's done, right? So even if you see at the request knowledge base here, this is also a record producer that we have. Request knowledge base. Click on it. This is producing some information here, right? You are submitting this, and this will take you to the knowledge base article page, right? And then it generated this email and sent that this is the information that was created, and that's done. That's the only scope of this record producer in this example. Produce the record, send that to the main form where the handling of this effort is written, whatever script is written to handle all these record data. So provide that skin these information, and then you are done. Record producer's work is finished. Right. So let me quickly do this. I don't know what is the flow of it. I'm quickly updating it. That's it. Multi-step record producer it was. It was a catalog item basically produced to serve some information. You provided that information. It generated a request or task, whatever it is. A request is generated. There will be tasks associated to these requests later maybe. So that's it. What it does. Produce records, pass it on to somebody else.
So it's nothing but kind of a UI which is enable user to add.
You can define it that way, but don't define it that way into interviews. Interviews you will have to define the the way it is there onto the wiki. So don't too much generalize it. All right. Anything else? I think you have enough material now. All the scripts that I have into the resource management application. You need to go through all those scripts, elaborate those scripts. See what else you can do is, I forgot to do this. I should have done that for the requisition form. The requisition form that I have right now, I have not extended that requisition form. I mean, I have not extended the task to this requisition form. I should have done that. A task table, while I created this requisition table, I should have extended the task table, and based on that, instead of using the business rule to create a task, it should have already automatically created a task for it by using a script into the workflow, right? So maybe you can go ahead and do that. You can extend this requisition table with the task table, and when approvals get done, you create a requisition and you create a task as well. That's what you need to do.
Sorry, what? Sorry, I lost what you said. You have to create a.
When you look into the workflow, I do not have a task table reference there. What I'm doing is, when you have a shortfall of resources into the projects that you identify, I am creating a requisition request automatically using a workflow, right? Now this requisition request, when it gets approved, it creates a task into the task table for a HR person, so that the HR person can go ahead and uh, start hiring a resource. But to do so, I created a task using a business rule. Right? Instead of doing so, why I should have done is I should have uh, extended the task table into the requisition table, and I should have kept the requisition request as a task entry as well whenever it was approved. Right? So I did it the other way. You can maybe go ahead and extend the task table into the requisition form and try using that. Both ways are good, but the extension of the task table is better way of doing so.
So you created a task through business rules, so I have to create a task through workflow.
Yeah, try doing that. You can try both, but try doing that as well. That's a refined way of doing things. Okay.
Okay.
So next class on Tuesday, we'll cover the rest of the topics. We cannot just extend it, so you have to cover it a lot, and